radio rebel. Politics, news, conspiracies. Wake up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. It's the type of stuff I'm into, all right? Make sure you tune in. Let's go.
Let's go. Big City 101.3 FM, waking up with TaylaAndre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. Really quickly, got to give a shout out to our sponsors. Don't forget to get your DavidBanner tickets. Don't forget, Tariq Nasheed is going to be live on air on Friday, and then he is going to be live at the Strand Theater. Doors open at 6 p.m. Show starts at 7 p.m. and tickets are still available on Eventbrite. Please head over to Eventbrite, type in Tariq Nasheed, and tickets will definitely show up for you. And do not forget, he will be live in the studio on Friday. I can't wait. Shout out to Faith Naturals Beauty. A friend of mine just recently got the charcoal whitening toothpaste. Wow. And she said that she loves it. She said it feels like little abrasives on my teeth. And I love it as well because it's changing my teeth from yellow to white. And don't forget the Pum Pum Wash, the rose-infused oil, the deodorant, everything. Your skin is your largest organ on your entire body. Treat it right. Lastly, do not forget ZC Boston, some of the best sushi that you will eat in the city. They deliver until 1 a.m. Monday through Sunday, and they are open until 2 a.m. every day. Some of the best, freshest seafood ever, and it's the only place where I can go eat Chinese food and get chicken and not think I'm eating rat. Scout's honor. Other than that, we have an amazing guest in the building, so stand up, turn around, let me read the shirt real quick. Opportunity Youth United, hashtag stuck on replay, moving the needle for justice for young adults in the Commonwealth. And special thanks to everybody who is currently on the t-shirt.
Right.
I couldn't even read that little stuff.
It's too small.
Good rising, James.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm well, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I know this is the witching hour.
Man, listen here. So
James said
I used to be in this type of routine, but listen, when you get older and you get a certain routine within work, it's hard for you to really get back into that same routine over and over again. So I'm here now, back better than ever, and I'm glad that you got me to get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Ooh, yes.
To make sure I got here at 6 o'clock. I had to take an Uber, but I'm here.
Hey, don't forget about Lyft. Don't just give credit to one person.
Oh, okay. Yeah, get Lyft too.
Get Lyft too, yeah. So all those codes are on my website.
Go check it out.
So James, you are with Opportunity Youth United. Recently we saw videos of you asking Miss Hillary Rodham Clinton a question on the youth, and you stated a number of how many million of youth between what ages are currently not working or in school right now?
So there's 5.6 million young people around our nation who are disconnected from school and from work. And me growing up in numerous poverty-stricken neighborhoods from Chicago, Illinois, which you see I'm repping it on my hat, to Columbus, Ohio, and now Boston, Massachusetts. When young people don't have access to opportunity or resources, and they're not in school or not working, and you're in an environment that has a lot of ills going on due to certain systems that are in place. I mean, think about what else is there for a young person 16 to 24 years old to do when they're deemed not important to the rest of the society.
Well, it's not that we think you guys aren't important or anything. It's just we don't have any money. What are we supposed to do? What's the answer, Sway?
I don't believe that. I think there's a lot of money out here. I think that people are using it for their own benefits and supporting their own people and putting their own people, into better positions and better jobs. Think about it. You're talking about the prison system. So you see the T-shirts that I'm repping, the Stuck on Replay movement. It's a cycle of mass incarceration when young people get locked up at a young age. That you have that stigma against you, like you're a criminal, like you're labeled. You have a Corey. So now jobs, now schools, now housing, is subjecting you to see, oh, you're not qualified now for these resources. That's another way to disenfranchise and dehumanize people, specifically of color, because more people who there are more people locked up who are colored. So with that being said, knowing that the prison system is being privately owned, and people are, you know, making money off of prison systems, rather than putting money into programs that work for young people, or getting more jobs, not summer jobs, but year-long jobs for young people, then it will stop them from, you know, entering the prison system, and that cycle of stuck on replay, and really the cycle of poverty that we're all stuck in. You know what I mean?
What is stuck on replay? Hashtag stuck on replay.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I'm gonna bring it back to, you know, you're thinking about when you're young and you entered the criminal justice system. It's rare for a young person to, you know, to be able to live a productive life after they enter the criminal justice system, due to all the systems that are in place that shut you down or turn you down because you're labeled as a criminal. And so that's a cycle that you're stuck on replay, and there's no opportunity to really get out. So you're always fighting for, you know, trying to make ends meet, and to try to, you know, really find employment and education and a whole bunch of other things. So it's this, and like, where do you go from there? You know, again, like that's why I talk about the 16 to 24-year-old young men and women out here who are living in low-income communities around the country, who don't have that access to resources or opportunities, or who don't have that family support that's needed, that can give them that strength of resilience to continue to move forward. They don't have that, and you have a lot of, you know, broken homes due to all the other ills that's taking place in the community. You have the police that's just all up on your neck. I mean, putting our hands up and we still getting shot. Like, come on now, like, you know what I mean? So all of that is a cycle of stuck on replay. It's a cycle that continues. So we need to transition that cycle and really dismantle that cycle. And so that's why I go so hard. And so I'm so passionate about this. And not only that, like, I got a father that was locked up for 30 years of his life. You know what I mean? He got locked up when he was 19 years old. It was 1985, December 5th, 1985. I was born June 2nd, 1986. June 2nd, 1986.
So you, in a sense, you never got to see your daddy outside of prison walls.
No. Just recently, when he got out.
Do you mind if I ask, what was he in there for?
Yeah, no problem. I mean, he was in there for murder. And the reason being is because, you know, my mom, we was in Chicago. We were homeless. Well, I mean, I was in my mom's stomach at the time, but my older brother and my sister, they were with my mom, and my dad was trying to make ends meet for my mom, for my brother, for my sister, and for me and my mom's stomach. No one would hire him. He couldn't finish his education because, just like the public school system is doing now, forcing and kicking young people out of school, they did the same thing back in the late 80s or early 80s. I mean, it hasn't changed, and it's 30 years later. So because he didn't have any opportunity for a job or didn't have an education, he had to, you know what I mean, get it how he lived. So, you know, when you see a target, if you ain't got nothing, you know, you got kids to feed, you're going to get it how you live. And so he tried to rob somebody, and that person he tried to rob tried to kill him. And so it was either him.
It was
him.
Me.
Exactly. So, you know what I mean? That's a true story, you know, and I just found this out, you know, when he got out, man. We had that face-to-face conversation about what really happened, because we've never had that conversation. I mean, definitely we didn't want to have it over the phone, because for one, they recording every time you talk. So, you know, we didn't want to have that, but we had that face-to-face conversation, man, and it was real. And I met my father for the first time in person when I was 28, right before he got out, and I didn't even know he was getting out. And then he finally got out. I went down there to go see him. You know, went down to Chicago and went to go see him, you know, and he's not in good health right now. You know, like being in prison for 30 years, he was just telling me how nasty it is. Like, you got like 100 dudes with 5 toilets. People don't care about like how they living because they in there for life. They got all type of diseases. You know, like mentally, they all messed up, and that's all they see without no structure, no support or no structure in these prison systems. But we got people out here that's getting paid, getting money, paying for their kids don't have to worry for nothing. They don't have to worry about schooling or paying for school. They don't have to worry about paying for housing. They don't have to worry about that. But for people like me, and for people like you and like my father and our brothers and sisters out there that know who has someone that is locked up, it's not that easy for us. And that's why I go so hard with this work that I'm doing with Opportunity Youth United and this Stuck on Replay movement.
So what exactly, are there 2 different elements here? Is Opportunity United one element, and then Stuck on Replay is a piggyback off that? What can you decipher the 2 for us?
So Opportunity Youth United is a national movement. It started back by the National Council of Young Leaders back in August of 2012, a few months right after I moved to Boston. And my mentor was the one that kind of facilitated this dialogue with around 12 to 14 different organizations from around the country. And most of these organizations had a My Brother's Keeper initiative or had certain initiatives that can help, you know, build up the capacity and really reach hopefully reach the 5.6 million young people. But back then, it was 6.7 million young people back in 2012. And so the goal of the Opportunity Youth United is to mobilize 1 million young people around the country to be civically engaged, to know what's going on in their community, to be activists in their own for themselves and for their community around specific areas. We're talking about criminal justice, that's where Stuck in Replay comes in. We're talking about education. We're talking about family engagement, because we need support, whether it's a mother, brother, father, or whether it's a mentor or, you know, a friend that can, you know, be a support system for you. Or and then the last one is community development. So knowing that a lot of the communities that we reside in, particularly low-income communities and rural communities, it's hard for us to build a sense of community or have developments come along, except for the developers that's coming in to buy us out.
The baby over here preaching now.
So those are the 4 particular areas that we work on, and so I'm the first community. I was the start of the first community action team around the nation. So Opportunity Youth United is to build community action teams around the nation to be able to connect to those 1 million young people, and we need to meet them where they are. So we had to go through the grassroots type of work.
And that's where Stuck on Replay comes in,
right?
And it's like it's more youthful, it's more engaging.
Yeah, exactly.
And you guys just recently had an event.
We did.
Tell me about this event.
Man, listen. So I was working a lot, man. So I really couldn't. I had to facilitate everything. I had to make sure everybody was on time with the agenda and everything. So I mean, it was amazing. We had over 200 people that showed up. We had young people, youth agencies. We had concerned adults in the room. We had a few legislators that were in the room, and a few pillars that represented very well. We had Senator Sonia Chang Diaz on the panel. We had Rasan Hall from ACLU on the panel, and we had Shannon, the director of ROCA, on the panel as well. And what they talked about was the Council of State Government process. So there's a Justice Reinvestment Act that Massachusetts is working on right now in reference to the money that they're spending for prisons. Could they use that money elsewhere, like diversion programs or reentry programs or
is that just
recovery
here in
programs.
Massachusetts, or are there efforts elsewhere?
There are efforts elsewhere, but right now only in Massachusetts are we able to make a difference as a collective body, as a state. And so the Council of State Government, what they're doing is they're facilitating this Justice Reinvestment Act, and they are really just crunching up all the data that they're getting from agencies, from legislators, particularly around recidivism, reentry programs, and recovery, right? So now you're thinking about this. This is something that happens after one has been in prison. But what about before one is going to prison, right? Or while a person is in prison? That's not kind of the Council of State Government focus. And so that's where we as a community need to come in, for one, because the Council of State Government is making decisions or is facilitating this dialogue without us. We have the big three, which is the Governor Baker. We have the House, the President of the House. I don't actually know his name, but anyway. And there's another person that I don't know, but it's a big three. I think my information is in my book bag. I will grab it in a second. But
this is radio, so there is no pause.
Yeah, no, it's all good. No, it's all good.
We stuck on replay.
Yeah, we stuck on replay. But the thing is that these people who are making the final decision, they don't look like us. They don't deal with the issues that we deal with every day in Roxbury, Dorchester, and Mattapan, and the low-income communities. So
they're looking at it statistically. Like, right. What can I do statistically? How can we make this work statistically? And the people who need to be a part of the conversation, one of the things I would like to say is shout out to Andrea James. Because Andrea James talks about how we have all of these experts that are always on panels. And she's part of the mass incarceration. And she's like, we have all these experts with PhDs and doctorate degrees and everything else on the panel. But the real experts are the people who are behind bars. The real experts are the people that actually go through it. So I understand what you're saying. Like, we have people that are making decisions for our community, but the real experts are the people that live in the community.
Exactly. And so that's the approach that we wanted to present to the community. So first, let me tell you how all of this started. I was at the State House along with some young people from Teen Empowerment, because that's where I work at the moment. And there were some Mass Inc. had a panel that was talking about the criminal justice system with young adults, but taking a development approach, right? And so everyone on that panel was white, and I'm like, so I walked in, and I'm like, oh yeah, like this is what it is. And so I'm kind of upset, because I'm thinking like, yeah, we're gonna have some people on this panel that's really gonna talk some real mess, some real deal stuff, man. I walked in there, I'm like, man, are you serious? And so I'm just sitting there, just paying attention to what they talking about. And I'm like, man, listen, I told you guys, like, because I'm always trying to get the youth voice out there. I'm like, yo, if y'all hear something that don't make sense to y'all, or y'all want to say, if y'all want to step up and say something, please let me know. Raise your hand. I'll say it for you, or you can say it for yourself. Like, for real, speak up, because right now is the time, because they're talking about you right now. They're talking about you right now. You know what I mean? So they had these experts on the panel and everything. So I'm like, say what you got to say. Man, we had some young people just hit them like, why is the justice system 90% white? You know what I mean? Just hit them with some facts and stuff like that. And people was like amazed, because they brought the real in the room. But if they wouldn't have came, there would have been a whole bunch of Harvard students, a whole bunch of legislators, a whole bunch of people who cared about the issue, but particularly wasn't being affected, or representing the issue or the community in the room, right? And so they said that, and I walked up to one of the organizers for the event. I'm like, hey man, this is a cool event, but I'm like, but you need us. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, you should definitely come to Roxbury to do it. He's like, yeah, man, we'll do it. And once he said that, see, when you say something to me, I'm gonna take you up on that, right? I'm gonna hold you to it, man. Listen, I mean, when I say a month later, I started organizing and meeting with Mass Inc. And then I started reaching out to other organizations. It started with a conversation. And sometimes that's where it starts off with. So, really, it started off with an idea, then it started off with a conversation, then it started with me organizing.
Mm-hmm.
I started organizing a group of people who I knew would be definitely interested in this movement.
Mm-hmm.
For one, I know that youth or youth agencies that support young people and don't want them to go into the prison system or to the grave, I knew that they would be interested in this. So I rallied them up. Like DS&I, we talking about Youth Voice Project, we talking about the Connection Center.
So really
talking
quickly,
about all these organizations.
let me ask you this. So all these organizations already have young people that are interested.
Yeah.
They already have young people that are no longer in the streets because they're now in community centers. Mm-hmm. But how do you reach those that are out there that are untapped, that untapped market? That how many millions? What is it? 5.6 million? 5.6 million youth between 18 and 24 that are not 16 and 24 that are not in school. Mm-hmm. That's scary. 16 and 24 that are not in school and don't have a job.
And are not given resources.
And have no resources.
Yeah.
So how do you reach those that aren't part of community centers or organizations but still need someone to, reach out to them, tap them on the shoulder and say, come with me. Let's do our civic duty to make sure you get what you need.
Yeah. I mean, one of the most important thing is with organizing, you got to realize you really got to meet people where they are. You know what I mean? So I know we started off with the community organizations. That's to build a group. That's to build a movement first. We want to make sure that people are interested. We can't start nothing for anybody. You can't have a movement if anybody following.
Mm.
So like, I didn't want to start off with just like, let me just go out in the streets and just let's make it happen. Like that's cool, but how much would I?
How effective is it really?
Right. Like I had to think about my approach and my strategy. So I got a group of young people who are passionate and powerful and impactful and are doing amazing work. Mm-hmm. And I got them. We had DS&I, Bison, joined the board, a lot of young people from there. And from there, I built the constituent base. I got a committee now.
So this is a youth-led.
Yeah.
Organized. So there's like adults don't own the space.
They can support all they want to, but they don't. No, they don't own that.
He turned into Samuel L. Jackson real quick. Have you gotten that before?
Oh, come on, man. Hey, listen, Samuel L. Jackson, if you're doing a movie, man, documentary, I should be you. I should definitely be you. And trust me, I can act.
The facial expressions, it turned into Denzel real quick.
Yeah. So, I get that, Samuel.
I called you Denzel. It's okay.
It's all good. It's all youth led. Opportunity Youth United is youth led. That's why it's important for us to continue to push, young people's voice. Like I can't be like. That's why I'm kind of trying to get more young people involved, so I can kind of step back because shoot, I'm 30 years old now. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of aging out, so I'm trying to recruit young people. Like you can be in this position. Let me show you how it's done. But moving past that right now, it's a youth-led movement. And I forgot where I was actually going with this, but I think that I was talking about. I definitely forgot where I was going with this. Can you help me out? I definitely forgot.
So, really quickly, going back to the question that you asked Hillary, I watched it over and over again, and I kind of feel as if the question wasn't fully answered. Were you satisfied?
She ain't answer that question, man. Listen here. She just recited what I said in the first few seconds of her talk, right? And I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I'm like, let's get to the real. She kind of just skipped over, you see lead paint. I'm like, hold on, first and foremost, what does lead paint have to do with young people dying? Like in the community, like really? Like, what does lead paint have to do with young people dying in the community and the effect that it has on their mental? Man, forget all that. Like, that has nothing to do with it at all.
So
I'm asking you.
Are you satisfied with her?
No, I'm not satisfied. I think that she just did that just to get over my answer. Now, mind you, I was the first person in that whole town hall that started to raise my hand. Now, it was only like 3 black people in there.
You were New
I'm the only dude. Yeah, we was in New Hampshire. I'm the only dude with my hat to the back. I'm looking gangster. So she like, oh, I don't know who this guy is. But I didn't care, right? But I knew that I was gonna be heard that day. So every time she had an opportunity, to have somebody, I was up, ready to raise my hand. You know what I mean? I had my
young
question.
people with you?
I didn't. They couldn't come that day because it was 2 days after Christmas.
Oh.
So it was kind of hard, man. And it was at a hard time at that moment because we had just lost a youth organizer to suicide. Evan Gilmore, rest in peace, man. 2 days before that event that happened, and I did that, and no lie, if that would have never happened to him, he would have been there with me, because that's what type of person he was, and he was so passionate. He was always willing to speak up. He would have been in the position I'm in right now as a community organizer, organizing Opportunities United Boston Community Action Team here in Boston. So I asked her that question, and I'm like, what? Like, are you serious? Like, that's your response? And so, you know, like, I wanted to say something else, you know what I mean? But she automatically just cut me off, because that's what politicians are trained to do. So anyway.
He said that's what politicians are trained to do.
Trust me, I mean, I work with a lot of them now, so I see how they quick to, you know, they're trained to answer specific questions. When questions come at them a certain way, they're trained to answer it in a certain way. Because I'm going to give you a prime example. Not only did Hillary Clinton say the same thing in reference to what would you do to reconnect 1 million young people around the nation who are disconnected from school and from work. There's a senator who's running for office again in Columbus, Ohio, where I used to live at, and he said the same thing. Well, you know, lead paint, and I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, bro.
You're really serious about this?
I'm so serious. Like, I understand, like, lead paint leads to like a certain mental disability or what have you. But that doesn't mean that you act out in certain ways, or you due to the lack of resources. You know what I mean? There's the lead paint is the cause of it. Like, come on now, that's not real.
But the lead paint, we got some callers on the line. 617-282-0062. We're in the building with James Mackey, Opportunity Youth United, Big City 101.3 FM. Waking up with TaylaAndre. Good rising, call you alive.
Good rising, Taylor.
T. Michael Thomas, talk to us, baby.
Just one quick request. Will you please connect me to that brother so I can sit down and have a conversation?
You already know that's done. Just hit me up after the show.
I'm on it, man. Thanks for the call, man.
Show as always. You need to give you more hours. Thank you.
Thank you, T. Michael Thomas. I thoroughly appreciate that. 617-282-0062. Garage and call you live.
Rising.
Hey, Miss G, how you doing?
Good. I wanted to tell the young man to keep up the good work because someone started you and you need to start someone else.
That's right.
And also, I wanted to tell him that I have relatives in Columbus, Ohio. Also, I wanted to tell him that he's doing a fabulous job and don't even consider stopping. Continue on. Kudos.
Thank you, man.
Out.
Thank you, Miss G. Love and appreciate you. James, who lit this fire under you? What started this passion for young people? What started this passion for civil engagement? What started this passion for you to mobilize?
Yeah, man. I mean, to be quite frank, I think it started from, you know, my upbringing, like seeing the struggle of my mom having 4 kids, us being homeless on the south and west side of Chicago, and people not being able to be there for us and support us. I mean, when I'm talking about like seeing people in Chicago getting shot, and you know, in front of us getting jumped and gang violence happening left and right, I consumed that, and I grew up and I became that, and I had that mentality. I mean, having a father that was incarcerated for 30 years, not having that father figure right there beside me, but also having my brothers and sisters tell me that I'm going to grow up to be just like my father. That became a part of my mentality. I mean, seeing that, you know, like I became a product of my environment, moving to Columbus, Ohio, and started that gang violence and that drug activity at a young age as a teen because I didn't have no one that really listened to me. I was angered. I was frustrated. I was upset. I was mad at the world. Like, why us? Why me? Why? You know what I mean? And so I used that, and I started to think differently. And I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to change my life. But it was sad to say that I changed my life when my younger brother was murdered and when my other younger brother was sent to prison for 10 years. And I started to think about my reality, but I really started to think about my mom's reality. Like thinking about how my mom just lost one young man to the grave and another one to the prison system. And I remember that day. Man.
She lost your father first.
And she lost my father. And my mom has been through hell and back. And is still going through it right now. And we have to be the pillars of the family. And she needs a strong man, which is who I am for her. But it took me to become the person I am to lose my younger brother's life. So I felt like it was a message through God. It's sad to say, for me to lose my brother's life, for me to be like, yo, James, it's time for you to make a difference, not for you, but for your mom, but for your brother when he get out of prison, and for the rest of your family. Because once my brother got into prison, we lost everything because the prison system took money from us. We had to pay for lawyers. We had to pay for, my brother's lawyers like, yeah, man, we're gonna get your brother out and everything. And so she got my mom all hyped up, thinking that he gonna get out. She spent like $20,000. She had her own business, you know what I mean, and everything that we supported her with. Talking about we gonna get our brother out. That did not happen. I remember that day when the judge was like 10 years mandatory, boom. And I'll never forget that day. I'm gonna tell you in a second. That look my brother gave me when he knew that it was real. That look was something that I don't never want to wish on nobody, but it's happening every day. Every day. So he got sentenced to 10 years mandatory for attempted murder. That was a real hard hit. And that was before my younger brother got killed. That was the year before my younger brother got killed. I was 19 when he got locked up. My other little brother got killed when I was 20. And he was only 16. And
so what do you say, because sometimes I like to play devil's advocate, what do you say to the listener who's listening, who's like, well, your daddy got locked up for murder, your brother got locked up for attempted murder, like, how about y'all make better decisions? What do you say to those naysayers and to those who, like, you can't, there is no woe with me when these are decisions that were made and these are the consequences based on those decisions?
Yeah. I think it goes back to the why that I'm here. Like I know that's why I work with young people, because my father got locked up at a young age. My brother got locked up at a young age. My little brother got killed at a young age, and a lot of young people are dying at young ages. It's because a lot of young people are misguided. They don't have support. They don't have no one there with them to show them the ropes of getting through this struggle that we are dealing with. Knowing that people are turning their backs gets them. And if you think about it, young people from that age are the ones with the least support, if you think about it, because we'll have so much stigma against them. For one, you got to worry about schooling and trying to get your education. Moms is supposed to be taking care of you, or pops is supposed to be taking care of you. But if you ain't doing right, they ain't trying to take care of you. You know what I mean? You got to worry about all the ills of society, thinking that you are the problem. You creating all these problems. You violent. You're this. You're that. And then you got to worry about like how to maneuver through all of that and still be a good kid. Like how? Especially growing up in a society where there's liquor stores on every corner. You got greasy fried foods everywhere on every corner. There's no healthy foods. There's no one, again, to sit down with you and say, yo, this is the society and this is how it works. There's going to be a lot of people out there that don't want you to succeed. And they're banking off of you not succeeding.
Literally.
You know what I mean?
Literally.
And I see young people nowadays, and I just see them like fighting with one another. And all these current events that's happening right now. I see all these shootings that's happening around Austin, and I see all these current events that's happening nationally with men getting killed and shot by police. And I'm like, don't y'all see that these systems are working effectively against us? And we're still fighting one another? Like, can you see that? Can you picture that? Like, do you see what's happening? But they can't. Their minds are so wandered everywhere. They're so misled with so many different things. You have social media, you have the media, you have these wannabe rap dudes that think they the illest and the realest. I call them thuggish, rugged bone wannabe. Like, straight up. Because, like, in reality, if you real, you would be for your people and you wouldn't be against your people. You know what I mean? Like, we are hurting ourselves. We are hurting our own people while people are banking off of that. And you can't see that. I'm able to see this now is because I was stuck in that one environment. But now I'm not stuck in that one environment no more. I travel around the country right now. You can't tell me where not to go. You know why? I made that opportunity for myself. And so we're going back to how, like, you know, my brother and my father made these decisions. It's because when you're contained and you're confined in one particular area with no resources, no opportunity, if you think about it, it's just like a prison system. It's just like a prison system. When you got people that are confined in one particular area, one has more than what you have. You need to eat. What do you think someone's going to do? You think they're just going to sit there and starve? Or you think someone's just going to sit there and just let it be? Nah, this is survival mode. These young men and women out here are on survival mode. Like, that's all that they know until someone else teaches them otherwise. Until there's other support systems out there or resources out there that says, you know what, we're going to support you, young people. We're going to support you from when you're 16 to 24, because we know that they're cutting funds on a national level everywhere from programs across the country. And if we think about why they're doing that, are young people from the age range of 16 to 24 years old living in low-income communities that need these resources, are they voting? Are they civically engaged? Do they know that their voice matters? And if they don't, then we can cut. Yeah, let's cut $500 million right there. They don't need that. We can put that money elsewhere. Yeah.
And then we go back to the conversation earlier where the people at the table aren't necessarily representing the demographics of that funding that they're cutting.
Exactly. Prime example.
How can we help you, James? Because we're coming to the top of the hour, and you're talking about these are real life issues. This is what our young people deal with, you know. And you're right. The youth voice is not heard ever. It's not respected because, you know, you're to be seen, not to be heard, and that's a very difficult. That age range, 16 to 24.
Yeah.
You don't know who you are. You lost yourself. And one of the things that I love that you said is you have a parent that's supposed to be taking care of you during the age of 16 to 24. But a lot of these parents can't even take care of themselves, right, let alone trying to take care of a 16 to 24-year-old.
Yeah.
And if you can't do right, get out of my house.
Right. So your question is, what can you all do for me? I mean, for one, if you got a young person, I need to speak to him. Let me speak to him, because I'm a real dude. I'm not afraid to speak to nobody. I'm not afraid to go to no hood. I will meet the young person where they are. I'm willing to. So you see these T-shirts we got right here, right? So I have these Opportunity Youth United, Stuck on Replay. Because if you think about it, like Stuck on Replay, first off, we were talking about the prison system, but then I started thinking last night, I'm like, man, Stuck on Replay, like we stuck on replay on a number of different levels. On a number of different levels. Like, it's a cycle that continues. If we're talking about the violence that's happening, we're stuck on replay in our mental, because we're not even seeing the bigger picture of how our violence between one another is benefiting the other. Right? We're stuck on replay to our own environment that we're living in, because we're not even seeing what's out or trying to venture outside of the community that we reside in, or just that street corner that doesn't even know our name or doesn't pay our bills. if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I need young people. I need young people. I need adult allies. I need community organizations. I need everybody to really understand the importance and the power that young people can do if you give them opportunity and resources. I see it every day. When we had this event this past Thursday at the Haley House, young people opened it up as to talked about why we are here. They talked about, we had two young people that talked about, one of them had their brother, being locked up and about to serve life in prison. The other young lady, her mom was locked up in prison, right? And so they're telling their stories while they're presenting to the community. And, over 100, 200 people, right? No sugarcoating anything, straightforward facts. This is what it is. And to be able to do that in front of a group of people that you don't know, that's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what I've noticed is that the adults think that, or this is not what I noticed, this is the real. Adults think they know what's right for young people. One of the most important things for adults to know is to listen to young people. That's the first most important thing, because we always think like, oh, nah, man, you know what you need? No, you need to go to school. You need to do this. You need to do that. And they like, nah, man, you ain't hearing me. You ain't hearing me. This is what I love. But you need to do this. You need to do that. And then when they lead astray, you like, dang, what's wrong with that person?
Because you have me set on your path,
exactly.
not the path I'm supposed to be
exactly. On. And so my overall thing is trying to help support and guide young people to be who they are and to be great at it, without me telling them this is what you need to do. I'll make suggestions, but I'll support you in any effort that you need to do. I'll help you when you fall. I'll pick you up when you need it most. I'll be there for you. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. As far as young people are concerned, at any point, have you felt yourself saying it's useless? Like, you're useless. There's no getting to you. You've been stuck in this mentality for too long. I'm trying to reach you, but I'm here where you are, and I can't take you to where you need to be. Like, I just have to give up on you. Have you ever been in that position where you had to give up, where you had to say, I can't help you?
Yeah, I love your question. Thank you, because it's real, and I think that it's something that also needs to be addressed. Yes, you can't continue to try to support a young person if they're not willing to take your support or your guidance, because you'll drain yourself out trying to do too much for that young person. Then they become dependent on you too much when you've been trying to support them and get them to the next level of their life, right? And I mean, you have your own life, but not that you have to, you make a few points like, this is something that I would really love for you to do or consider you to do, for the best of you and your life, and a lot of young people don't want to hear it that way. But what has to happen is you just have to continue to act on yourself and do what you do. Let them see you be great, because then they're going to be looking like, dang, I'm still here doing the same old stuff. James done moved up. Oh, he traveling the country and everything. I could have been right along there with him. But I'm stuck right here, right in the hood. You know what? Oh, well, stuck on replay. And I'm going to give you a quick example of that. So I remember when my dad told me when I was like 16, and I was on the phone. He was like, son, no matter what you do, stay in school. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, I heard him. Now, I got kicked out of every public school I went to and was not allowed to go back. I'm talking about every.
Are you serious?
I got kicked out of every public school that I went to. From elementary, all the Chicago schools that I went to, I got kicked out. All of Columbus, Ohio schools, I got kicked out. And if you think about it, the school system wasn't good enough for me, really, they couldn't hold me down. I was, like I said, I was an angry, vicious young dude. I fought a lot. I did a lot of crazy stuff. Like, the person you see now was not the person I was 15 years ago.
So you were that kid that people gave up on. You were that kid that people said, listen, I can't do nothing with you.
Man, listen, that's why I'm so passionate to do the work that I do, because I've been through that. Like, my life experience helped propel me to move forward with this type of position that I'm in right now. And I'm not going to be, like, I would not be here if I wasn't destined to be here. Like, I was destined to be in this position. And people told me that I wasn't going to be nothing, but I was like, yeah, I'm destined for greatness. No matter what. In my mental, even though during the times when I was, doing all that illegal stuff and doing all that crazy stuff, I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm going to show you. And when that opportunity came, and when I started to build a resilience, and when I started to say no to a lot of things that I used to do, I began to bring people with me. My family was broken apart. My immediate family was broken apart due to my loss of my brother, due to my brother going to prison, due to my mom losing everything. My family was broken apart. And guess who brought them back together and made them stronger again? You. I did. And it wasn't because of like, I'm gonna just do this because I just feel like doing it. Like, nah, it's because that's what I'm supposed to do. Because I was in that position to be the pillar in my family to make a difference. And I didn't want to just do it and I'm just doing it and I'm just doing great things and traveling around the country and my family's still struggling. I want to do the same thing that I did for my family. I want to do in Boston. I don't only want to do it in Boston. I want to do it nationally. Like,
so how do we bring families together and keep families together when we have systems that say, oh, you want housing? That means you don't have a man, right? You want assistance? That means you don't want a man, right? How do you bring back that family when we have systems that discourage family values?
It's simple, but it's not simple. You have to go against the system. You have to build a momentum. You have to build a movement of people that say, you know what, I'm down to move forward with this movement of trying to go against the system. I'm gonna give you a prime example. I've seen a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but like 10 to 12 people in front of Verizon for like 2 months straight.
Yes,
we 2 months straight. Them. Now, mind you, most of them was all white, the ones that I seen. Now, one thing that showed me is that, well, they stuck together. But most importantly, the most important thing for people to do is to show up when it's time. What happens when the time comes is we show up too late. We show up when the decisions are about to be made rather than being there as the decisions are being talked about, as the conversations are being had, as the dialogues are being discussed. But we show up when the decisions are made like, no, this is what we want. And they're like, oh, it's too late. We already made our decisions and you can't do anything about it because you know why? Because people voted us in the office and we run this here. And if you don't have any say so, if you don't speak up, if you don't step up, if you don't show up to these particular areas or particular issues that really affect you, like the criminal justice system, then guess what's going to happen? The people in position of power who don't represent our community, who don't look like us, who are living outside of Boston or living in big mansions and children have school that's paid for and all of that, right? They're going to be living good. But guess who's going to still be struggling and stuck on replay? We are, if we don't show up and do something about it. And that's what I realized in this work that I'm doing, right? As I see people that show up, and when you show up, things get done. But when you say, oh man, start complaining all the time and the system messed up, but when it's time for show up,
where you at?
You ain't there. And I know that there are certain things that are in place, like, like your job at times that stops you from showing up. You know what I mean? And that's how society has it, because they know that we need those jobs.
But
because
you still got to send those text messages. You still got to send those emails. You still got to say, hey, listen, I really wanted to be a part of this conversation that you had at 3 p.m., but I get out of work at 5.
Right.
Can you make it a little bit more feasible for me, your constituent, to attend said meeting?
Exactly.
So we have Opportunity Youth United, James Mackey, in the building. Please tell them how we can find you, how we can locate you, how we can help you increase opportunity and decrease poverty in America.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, man, I can be reached. I'll give you my cell and I'll give you my email. So my cell is 857.
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you now. They call. These listeners
That's
call.
fine. That's great. Like
Okay.
I want people to call. 857-500-2713. Again, the number is 857-500-2713. My email is mrjamesmackey.
I told you. I told you they call.
Calls already.
They call. They might.
Hey,
My
call.
listeners ain't no joke.
Look, give me like 30 minutes, and I got you. Okay, let me close out real quick on Taylor's show, and I got you. Okay, I'm gonna call you back. If I don't call you back, leave a message.
Get the number one more time.
So again, the number, I think it's out there, but I'll give it again. The number is 857-500-2713. So whoever called, that was the right number. All right. And my email is mrjames,
Mr. James,
and my last name Mackey, MACKEY @gmail.com. So it's mrjamesmackey@gmail.com.
So our last question before we wrap up, Waking Up with TaylaAndre, Big City 101.3 FM, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. Does he take or mentor young people outside of the Boston area?
I do. I got a young lady that's in Cali, all the way in California. She calls me every time she needs help with decisions. She's in the construction field. She was like, James, I really want to, change my, I got this quarry off of me now. I got my record sponge. I want to open up my horizon. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, so what would you like to do? Oh, no, I just want to open up my horizon. I'm like, let me ask you a question. Are you getting paid well in your job? It's like, yeah, and I love it. I'm like, have you ever thought about, opening up your own construction business one day or something like that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, think about that, before you start exploring elsewhere right now. Stay with that. She's also sitting on this council, and I help her out with her speeches a number of times. And I that's not only it. Like, I got young people all across the country that I know that I reach out to, and I make sure that I stay connected with, because, again, like me, when I was younger, when I was growing up at adolescence, I didn't have a father figure. I didn't have a role model around. So I know the importance of having a caring, responsible adult that will be willing to listen to you. Real quick, I forgot if I would be upset at myself if I did not say this. Listen, Stuck on Replay is not just a hashtag. It's a movement, y'all. From our event that we had this past Thursday, we have a website. Yes, we have a website, and you will see everything that took place on that website. It's called StuckOnReplay.org. Just like that, StuckOnReplay.org. And what we want you to do on this website is to share your story of how mass incarceration affects you, your family, and your community. We don't only want it to be just here in Boston. We want it to go nationally. This is a movement that we want the president to get involved in. We want you to share your story. You can shoot it from your iPhone. You can shoot it from your tablet. And there's an opportunity that says share your story, and you can send your name, your email, and then upload the link to your story straight on the website. And from there, we will make sure that your story is heard on our website. But before you do that, definitely check it out, because I'm telling you, you're gonna love what you see on this website.
Big City 101.3 FM, Waking Up with TaylaAndre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. That was James Mackey. of opportunity, Youth United, increasing opportunity and decreasing poverty in America. I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors. ZC Boston, free delivery. They deliver all the way up Blue Hill Ave until it intersects with Columbia Road, and they deliver until 1 a.m. in the morning. They are located at 801 Mass Ave. Free parking, and free parking for lunch is 2 hours. Free parking for dinner is 3 hours. They have the most amazing sushi, and sushi is half price on Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. Faith's Natural Beauty.com, Faith's with an S, natural with an S, beauty.com. Get you the pum wash, gal. It's hot outside and you need to smell good, smell fresh. She has deodorant. She has lotion. All of her products are edible. I don't advise that you eat them. I'm just saying that they're all natural, so you can eat them. Your skin is the largest organ on your body, so take care of it. Everything you put on, from soap to shampoo to conditioner to your sprays, your body sprays, all of that is absorbed by your skin. Be mindful of what you're putting on your body. Do not forget, DavidBanner will be here July 23rd, and Tariq Nasheed will be here on Friday in studio for an interview. Friday Rising, and then Friday evening you can catch him at the Strand Theater. Doors open at 6 p.m. Show starts at 7. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. And I hope you have an awesome day. Mwah.
Yep, that's right, baby. You know what it is? It's DJ Sus One, the feature presentation. Listen, make sure you wake up with TaylaAndre Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 a.m. on Big City 101.
I'm talking like you. Save my community.
Radio Rebel. Politics, news, conspiracies. Wake up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. This is the type of stuff I'm into, all right? Make sure you tune in. Let's go.
How massive incarceration affects you, your family, your community.
Absolutely.
On this website.
So my story is not as powerful as others.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.